Subnautica is my all-time favorite game. I've always loved the creativity the devs put into it. All of the creatures, all of the plants, and the overall map are filled with so much details. The first game early access was almost 12 years ago, and even after so long, I'm still able to find the extra details about the game that I didn't know. Like for example, did you know you could technically cure the Kara virus from most of the creatures in the game before even helping the Sea Emperor? Because if you take any of the cured peepers you can find in the small vents and put them in a tank with some infected creatures, after some time they will get cured. Not completely, and the PDA also tells you that, but at least the visual signs of the Kara will get cured. If you scan them, it will also advise you to find a stronger version of the enzyme that's been released from the peepers, which basically means you have to find the Emperor facility, which is a cool way for like anyone who tries this. I don't know how. I barely discovered this. It tells you to go deeper and find the Emperor. So after so long, after Below Zero released, we finally have the early access for Subnautica 2, like right behind the corner. At the writing of this video, it's basically a week away, 7 days, just that. And we had to go through so many complications to get here. And it's so cool. I am so hyped that we won. This never happens. It barely happens with any other game. But we, the Subnautica community, won. And in 7 days, we'll be able to get our hands, finally, on the new planet. So today I wanted to celebrate the release of Subnautica 2 by adding the original game Leviathans to Minecraft. Since I see a lot of mods inspired by Subnautica, but there's barely any about the game itself. So I tried to get them as close as possible to the actual game Leviathans, their eye, their models, their personality, starting with the most iconic of them all, and probably the face of the game, the original game at least, the Reaper. I've always found their design kinda weird, in a good way. Basically, I cannot find any other creatures that have a similar face shape, and technically this goes for any other creatures in Subnautica, but you get my point. So I started making the model by doing the head, since it's the hardest part to make and the most unique in their design, because Reapers have this really cool aspect of their face where their eyes, you can see them from the front and the side really well. It was pretty hard to do on Minecraft, especially because, you know, it's a cube, but I think I got it pretty well. I've also made their horn slightly go forward, like bend it a little bit, so they kinda keep that weird nose they have, even though it's not a nose. But from the front, you'll be able to see the horn bend towards the face. Meanwhile, the rest of the body was pretty easy to do, since it's basically an eel. So I tried to make it the exact size and length, but I kinda messed up, since my model is slightly longer than the original. After the model and the skeleton were done, I started texturing the guy, which was really hard because I'm not really used to make big textures that all have one color. So it took a pretty long time. It was like, I think 4 hours of just texturing. I struggled especially with the face. Reapers have this really weird smile on their face. You don't really see it most of the time because when you're close enough to see their face, they'll just scream. So you don't really see them with their mouth closed. And that smile kind of reminds me of a Springtrap smile, at least the smile the suit has. One thing I also messed up were the claws on the Reaper's face. They are technically way bigger than the model I've made, but this was something I was able to fix during the animation process, so it's fine. The biggest problem of them all were the eyes. Again, I said earlier how their eyes, you could see them from the front and the side really well, and it was really hard to do in Minecraft, but I think I pulled it off. Technically they're not as round as they should be, and one of them should be way bigger than the other, but I think it encapsulates the angry expressions Reaper have pretty well, so I'm kind of proud of that. So this is where things get interesting. I had two choices when it comes to movement. Either make the model whole, animating it like normal, or separate the model in segments. Both have their pros and cons. Animating the whole model looks nice, when they go forward at least, but when they turn around, the model, at least to me, kinda looks all awkward and very stiff, but it's way easier to execute. For example, this is a creature from my mod, the Bleak Maw, and I use this technique to animating them, and you can see that when they swim forward at least, they look fine, but when they turn around, the moment they do, they turn the whole body around. So at least to me, it looks pretty weird. The other way is to separate the model in segments. Basically every cube becomes their own entity, and when the head turns around, all of the body follows it as it tries to follow a shape. This ends up looking really cool when they move around, and the creature ends up looking way more alive. They feel like an actual breathing animal. Their movement, they feel like they actually are swimming. The only problem with this technique is it may cause lag. At least didn't to me until now. It probably will if you spawn too many of them. The other problem is it's really hard to make. Like the small cube following the shape, they tend to break really easily, and this problem probably still exists even after I tried so many times to fix it. So obviously, as you could imagine, I chose the segment. They look really good when they work, and they don't look too bad when they don't. One thing I also noticed, which I noticed way later, way after I made the Reaper, is that maybe this is the actual way the devs implemented it in the game. So looking at the model, what I found is the Reaper doesn't have any animation, at least not any body animation. It still moves the head, the mouth to attack and scream a lot, but there is no body animations. It just wiggles around. So what I realized is that probably the way they made it is similar to mine, where there's a main body that just swims around, and then the rest of the body follows it. Of course it's way different because mines are cubes, but I believe you get my point. Now you may call me an idiot and say, I mean, isn't that how they did it for every creature in the game? It would make sense. But then I looked at the Ghost Leviathan, and the guy has actual animations. Like, it's more like the first way I explained with the Bleak Maw. There's one whole animation, and there's just animations for turning, going up, left, right, down, everything. Which I find really cool. It's really, really cool that different creatures have different way of moving. It's dope. I don't even think it's intentional, but the fact that every creature is different adds so much detail to the game, and it's the reason why I love it so much. After that, I started working on the actual AI, so I've made the Reapers swim around, up, left, they turn, left and right, go up and down. Sometimes they even do a dolphin jump out of the water. It wasn't intentional, but it's kind of funny. It's kind of funny looking. Reapers don't actually do it in game, but they're kind of known to just sometimes jump out of the water to get you. So I guess it's kind of close. One thing I added though is their PDA says something very interesting, which probably we all know. So, do you know that every time a Reaper screams, it's not just for screaming, they do it a lot for a reason. It's a sonar basically. They use that to locate prey, kinda like a bat, and that's terrifying, because if you hear them, they know where you are, which is terrifying. Now I don't know if this is actually implemented in the game. I've seen people say it is, I've seen people say it's not. The fact that a lot of people don't know is really funny and really cool, but I added it in just in case, you know, because you never know. You hear a scream and there is a chance that they just know where you are. You're cooked, you're dead, they're just running towards you and you may not even know. Now, talking about attacks, I think 2 attacks are fine. One of them is just the bite they do in game. The other one is a head ram with a horn, which is weird. They have a horn, but they don't use it, I think. I'm not sure, but there is no animation for them to just ram their horn. The last attack, so it's technically 3, is the grab attack they do on Seamoth. We'll talk about the Seamoth later, but my Reaper, every time it tries to bite something that's too big, they just grab them and shake their head, just like they do in game. But this doesn't only apply to the Seamoth, it applies to any other big creature in the game. Iron Golem, yeah. A Warden, that too. It will probably die, but you know, it still counts. But speaking of the Seamoth, I wanted to add it. It's not found the same way you do in Subnautica. In Subnautica you have to, you know, take the mobile vehicle bay, craft it, scan it first, then craft it, and place it, and then find the blueprint for the Seamoth, and then make the Seamoth, and then you have a Seamoth. I didn't want to add all that stuff, I'm gonna be honest. So you can just craft it and place it. You don't even have the chance to fix it with the fix tool, I don't remember the name. You just right click with iron. That's all you get. You don't even get like the flashlight on the Seamoth. Nah. For something, because I wanted this to be more of an Easter egg than anything else. Because obviously the main focus of this mod is gonna be the Leviathans. But you know, I wanted to add the Seamoth because we love the Seamoth. Yeah, we just throw it away every time we get the prawn suit, but we still love the Seamoth. Come on. And that's it. I really love this franchise. No amounts of words can describe how excited I am to finally get my dirty hands on Subnautica 2. I've been following it for so long. I've been following this game ever since the early access of the first game. I remember when they first added the Sea Dragon. I was shitting myself. I was still a kid. I shitted myself. I was scared of the Sea Emperor. That's how bad it was. Like, at the time, they couldn't speak. It wasn't even the adult. It was like the juveniles. And those motherfuckers scared the hell out of me. So after you watched all of this video, should I continue this mod? Should I add all of the other Leviathans? The Reefback maybe? The Ghost? The Sea Dragon? Especially the Sea Dragon? I really like the Sea Dragon. They're really cool. Or you could tell me that I'm wrong and I completely suck, and that would be fine. But one last thing. Technically the Reaper's model is only around 20 meters. It's not the max size. So I made this command that appears whenever you load a world for the first time from Altera themselves. Download the mode, check it out. It makes the Reapers way scarier, to be honest. So that's it. See ya.